Hi, my name is Camden Craighead. I'm from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and my family has a background from Ireland, Scotland, and Germany, and I am now the sixth or seventh generation. I'm not 100% certain to be in the US. And the object I have today is actually a red wooden chest, and it's actually too big to show on the camera, so I'm gonna have to move the camera to it. But this is the red wooden chest that my dad used in college, and I'm just gonna kind of tell you about where he got it, why we still have it, and how I ended up with it out of three kids. So this object was my dad's in college, as I said. My grandfather actually made it for him and gave it to him as a graduation present. So it's been in the family for over 25 years. And they painted it red and put on candy stripes in white, kind of like a white beige for IU, since my dad was going to college there. And then what they did was they uh, they took the time to like make a handle on the sides, put in like door hinges so that it would flip up, and put in the rope to hold it so that it doesn't tip all the way back. My grandfather actually is really good at handiwork and basically taught us how to do woodworking stuff. So the the story kind of is that like my dad was taught from him growing up like how to make this kind of stuff, how to cut his own wood and guide it down to make sure it's a straight line cut. And then my personal connection to it is the fact that my dad passed down something from college that he had for me to take to college. And when he actually gave it to me when I was around 14 because they didn't need it anymore. But the nice thing is that when I was getting ready for my for move-in for freshman year last school year, my dad actually took the chest and went to my grandfather's house and they worked on it together. They sanded it down on top and on the sides and such, and they took the stickers off since I wasn't gonna go to IU, and then they actually repainted it with a nice new red coat so that it would look nice and new since it had been beat up over the years of moving. And it, for me, it really just represents like the work that I learned from my grandfather with woodworking stuff and like handyman stuff in my house. So over the years, he's always tried to make sure that we would always be able to do it ourselves and kind of have a good idea of what we need to do rather than pay somebody a ton of money when we could do it ourselves for much cheaper. Trying to be more reasonable about it. And for me, that just really represents that bond I have with my grandfather and the way he's taught me how to do these things. And I'm hoping that at some point I can kind of pass it down to a kid if I have one someday, or a nephew or a niece or such. Just because it represents that bond of like the woodworking skill, and I want to teach them how to do everything themselves in the household with those kinds of handiwork, because as my grandfather taught me, it's just much easier if you learn how to do these simple things yourself that anybody could do. So, and what it really reminds me of the most though is a wooden box drum I made with my grandfather a couple years ago, and that connection I have. So this that has been passed down just kind of solidifies that relationship from father to son and grandfather to son of learning how to build things on our own and do the handiwork we need to.